Hey, David, welcome. As always, thank you for being here. Oh, no worries. No worries. I know everybody has their own stuff going on in their life, and I don't expect everyone to be here every week. I do appreciate it, though, when you all are. It's amazing that y'all are still interested in seeing the content. But yeah, the VODs will be up right afterward. We're going to be finishing up the Paladin live stream in 2 weeks. So tomorrow will be the beginning of it, and then I don't think we're going to be able to have, or we would, I hate to say we won't, but I do not think we'll have enough time to get through the full ending. So we'll have the ending of it next Sunday, and the Bard following up closely after that. So there'll be a lot of exciting content about the end game coming up in both of those. Oh, nice. Yeah, I've been there twice. Yeah. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I know they hate the comparisons, but Scotland and Ireland both are extraordinarily beautiful. But yeah, you're gonna enjoy yourself. You're gonna enjoy yourself. Very welcoming place to go. Like I say, very, very beautiful. There's so much history there that, and I'm a big history buff, so especially military history. So it was amazing for me to go on some tours related to that sort of stuff when I've been there. Hey, Rudy, welcome. Place I haven't been. I haven't been able to get over to any of the Scandinavian countries yet, but I really, really want to go. Yeah, I really want to go. I've got a friend of mine who moved to Stockholm 8 years ago or something like that. Just never been able to find the time to really get enough time to go over there and spend a quality length of time over there. It's not exactly the tourist destination. We'll go ahead and get started here. Welcome, everyone, to today's live stream, episode number 24 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Honor Mode gameplay series. I'm Commander Rolan, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, all of the great travel discussions aside, there aren't any. Oh, there is an admin note. I forgot. The new hotfix was released on Thursday. I believe that's 26 or 27. It was really just to correct an issue with the mod manager. There was an ancillary thing where, for the edge case, where if you were doing an honor mode run and you lost it and you changed it to one of the other modes to continue, the enemies would still have legendary actions. And they removed that. I'm not entirely sure why that change was made. I would think that that's one of the things that you would like to have happen. But I know prior to patch 7, it wasn't that way. If you lost your honor mode run and you went to a custom game mode afterwards, legendary actions went away. That was always a complaint that most of us had, that you wished you could continue the game with legendary actions. And then I guess it showed up in patch 7, and now it's gone again in the hotfix. But now with the new custom mode allowing you to select honor mode rule set to use legendary actions, I think that's probably why it's just turned off by default now. But other than that, that's it for the hotfix. It was really short, just to correct a couple of major pressing issues. So, on our recap, at the end of last week's episode, we had finished up a fight with the Meanlocks underneath of the Last Light Inn. I said I was going to go through and loot everything in the Last Light Inn. I actually didn't. I just ran out of time because I was prepping for tomorrow for the Paladin livestream, which is getting into the end game, and there's a lot to do there and a lot for me to figure out, so I had to spend some extra time on that, and I didn't get around to doing this. So we're gonna jump in here, and we're not gonna loot everything. I will loot everything as soon as I get done today. I won't sell anything though. I'll just keep it in my inventory so that y'all can see how much gold we pick up just from looting everything underground here and in the Last Light. But let's go ahead and jump in here, and it should be right where we left off after the fight was done at the end of last week's episode. so here we go down here in the cellar again, and you can see a bunch of stuff that I haven't touched
I have a lot on my mind.
while we were off stream. It's laying everywhere. And again, that's just because I ran out of time. We will do a quick search here of the dirt mound, and then we'll head back upstairs. Okay, so some crafting ingredients and that sort of stuff. So down here in the cellar, there's a lot of pickup items. There's a lot of camp supplies down here, specifically alcohol-based. Like I say, you can see it laying everywhere down here. For the most part, there's not a whole lot else. Here on the table is the detention cell key. And this key doesn't just open the cells. It will also open the evidence chests that are here. But it does open the doors. And in here again, more alcohol laying around, so there's a lot of camp supplies here. This cell here has another way to get into the mean lock area. So can't remember if I searched this or not. I did. But it's behind a broken wall here. Again, a whole bunch more chests and all that sort of stuff that you can search. But we're gonna make our way back up through this door here.
Here goes nothing.
Don't be shy. Have a gander at the finest stock.
Okay, and this takes us to the dock area here of Last Light. Now, I don't think... Yeah, I haven't searched any of this stuff down here. But like I say, barrels, crates, all over the place out here for you to be able to search. And the dock continues on around the back here on both sides. And takes you back up here to the top area, which has the stairs back down into the docks. So we're just going to make our way up here real quick, because we're going to get a check over here. There it is. An arrow of ice, always nice. Didn't mean to rhyme that. And I think we've probably talked to Bex here. Yes, we talked to Bex already. We're gonna head inside here in a second. First, we're gonna head out here. Now, this area is going to become much more important a little bit later on, after we do some exploring on the other side of the river. You obviously recognize what this is going to be later on. For now, though, and again, more stuff that I will come back and search all of this later. Forgot about this one here. Okay, Elixir of Vigilance, very, very nice. Extremely useful, especially in the endgame. And, of course... that should be the... oh, no, that's what's way down. Okay. So now we can head up here to this upper level. Now, up here's a couple of things. One, there are a bunch of graves. There's some other stuff that we can pick up, which I will at some point. You can search all of the graves. You'll find various little items in them, nothing spectacular. Some crafting supplies again. I'll come back and loot all of this off stream. And this leads you back to the bridge. What leads you back behind Damon's area. And they've got this mined. It's outside of the protected boundary, so they've got it mined with some blast mines here. We're going to leave those intact. And now here, we're going to have Shadowheart. I just want to make sure that she has the highest perception. She does not. It's Astarian. That's what I wanted to make sure of. They both have high wisdom, so...
What a day.
This would actually do better on Astarian for this check.
What am I to do?
Nope. Astarian.
Keep your distance, darling.
And again, some more open graves back here. They're in the process of burying their dead. Okay, wow, okay. Rolled a 7. Okay.
Over there.
Because this is a perception check that you have to make to be able to progress with it.
Way to go still. No time for Danny.
And that 7 was with advantage. Okay, so there it is. Now we can bring
Careful,
Astarian
my
back.
Don't linger.
Because you need to make a strength check here now. When you click on the rebel.
A flaming fist with a caved-in face. Someone was...
Okay, there's another perception check there after you're done.
Whatever comes.
This one you do not have to pass.
Got to keep moving. What's that?
But it's just to highlight the flaming fist down here.
Keep a blade close. I'll just help myself.
And here you get the Shield of Scorching Reprisal. Regular shield, it's a +2 armor class, comes with shield bash like they all do. However, this one makes you resistant to fire damage, which is quite useful. And then it comes with Blazing Retaliation. So once per short rest with a bonus action, you can activate this ability. It's going to increase your armor class by 1. And then if an attacker misses you with a melee attack, they take 1d6 fire damage. So this is, and it's not reaction based or anything like that. So if you have a bunch of people attacking you and they all miss, they're all going to take fire damage out of it. So it can be a useful early game shield. Which I am going to put here. And then for general for combat purposes, I'm going to leave the adamantine shield on Shadowheart instead. So this way, as a bonus action, once per short rest, I can get in the middle of a fight. And again, I normally have my high armor class bard up front anyway. They're much more likely to miss a high armor class. And I can then utilize that to be dealing 1d6 additional bonus damage to all of them while that's on. So should be a nice damage boost as we go. So now we'll head back And we're going to walk around the far side of the last light, make our way all the way back, and just open it up. Open the map up. And again, as I say, there's a bunch of stuff you can search all through here. So a lot of trash that's worth, I think it's around 1,300 gold total, which at this point in honor mode is extremely useful. But again, all of this continues around the other side. More stuff that you can search here. And we get back here to this far side. First, we have a heavy chest. And then you can see that we have Lysandra and her crew of harpers that we helped out during the fight.
Thank you for helping us out there. Those shadows would have torn us to bits.
And they're praying here, probably to their lost companions. Now there is something that I want to go look at, but I don't want to
Tread carefully.
Go too far. So there's some roots here that allow you to climb up to this section. There's some other stuff up here that you can pick up. Okay, now Isabel is over here, and again, we obviously have not triggered anything with her yet. We don't want to trigger anything with her.
That's why we're still standing around.
But I did want to look at the roof here real quick. We do have this outer area. This is just an outer bar up here at the top. I could swear that there was a bird's nest up here. There it is. Thought there was. There's a key here with the innkeeper's key in it. And now we'll bring Astarion back down. Okay, and we will bring him out front where we'll pick up with him again here. Because everybody else is right over here. And now we've opened up pretty much everything here around Last Light. Okay, so all the grounds have been explored. Again, a lot of stuff to pick up and sell. So let's head inside
Still in control.
real quick. And we're going to have some conversations in here. And need to get farther inside. Alright, there we go. So we've already had the conversation with Arcola and Halsin. We're going to go explore that some more today. So the next thing is talking to Mattis here. And for this, we're going to need... There's going to be a couple of checks to make.
Don't be shy. Have a gander at the finest stock.
And I want the Ring of Geniality as well. to up my persuasion. These checks aren't horrible.
Something's on my mind.
Welcome to our humble... Wait, are you Karlach? A lot of us were in Avernus. We saw you fighting. You were so good.
Well, yeah, I guess I was. I mean, you should avoid fighting for devils if you can. But if you can't, it helps to have a good right hook.
I saw you lay out a Moor demon in 2 hits. Bam! Bam! We were all like, whoa! How'd you learn to fight like that?
Had to. Life didn't pull any punches. It was up to me to learn to take a hit and deal one back.
I've been tossed around a lot too. I want to learn how to fight back too.
From the look of things, you've got your wits about you. A clever mind and a bit of style will take you a long way. Fight with those, and you may find you never need to use your fists at all.
In that case, want to buy a lucky ring I found?
Ha! Nice try, Shorty. Keep it up, though, and you'll be scamming with the greats in no time. It is, isn't it? Hope he makes it out of this mess with his wits in one piece. I'd like to see him set up in a proper home in the city. Every kid deserves that.
Premium.
So
Check it out. We've gone legitimate, and Mole put me in charge. What do you need?
So here's what we're going to get to. If you bring Karlach along, there's some additional flavor here with the tieflings, which is always nice to see.
I'm not supposed to mention it to anyone, but I do have something pretty special in stock. A key. What does it look like? What does it open? What treasures await behind its lock? That's for one lucky buyer to find out. Morgue gave it to me and said I shouldn't let it go to just any old jackaday.
Okay, so we have deception and persuasion options here. We're going to get a little bit more from persuasion because of the Ring of Geniality. Okay, so can only fail with a nat 1.
I mean, maybe.
And now we have another persuasion option. This one's going to be a little bit more difficult on our side because we lost favorable beginnings. But the check is a lot easier to make.
But she put me in charge of the shop. I thought... Never mind. Here. You can have it then.
And that gets you the tower-shaped key. We're actually going to see what this is used for a little bit later on today.
What can I get you? I'm alive, ain't I? What's not to like?
Okay, now Mattis here is going to sell a couple of things. Normally, there's a pretty good selection of potions, especially the potions of invisibility. The arrow of many targets doesn't show up very often, but there is a decent supply of arrows here as well. The two things that Mattis really sells, though, are first the Cloak of the Cunning Broom. When the wearer disengages, they also create a foggy cloud with a 2-meter radius that lasts for 1 turn. So, what this is really useful for is for your thief subclass rogue characters, where you can disengage from combat. As soon as you do, it creates a fog cloud around you. You can then immediately hide, and then you can move out, and a lot of times that fog cloud will obscure detection cones, so you're able to move out of the way. It takes 2 bonus actions to do both, those things, I mean, you can use your action to disengage instead, and then use a single bonus action to hide. But at the end of the day, that's where it really comes into play. Just disengaging and staying in the fog cloud can also be useful, because it is going to give attackers disadvantage while they're trying to hit you. So even if you don't move, it can be a useful piece of defense. It's fairly cheap, and cloaks at this point in the game are few and far between, so you might as well pick it up just to have an additional tool to be able to use. And then the evasive shoes, and this is kind of really what they're there for. It's a pair of shoes that gives you a +1 to armor class. The acrobatics is nice, but it's really the +1 to armor class that comes along with it. You don't see that very often on a pair of boots. And this is what is expensive. These are the 2100 gold boots, and we obviously don't have anything like that. But we will at some point, and we will pick them up. And Mattis appears in Act 3 as well, and has a couple of high-priced items in Act 3. So it's probably a good idea here to up Mattis's approval. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take care of that off stream again. You know how that works. I won't have enough gold to purchase the shoes yet, but I will upgrade his approval off stream. And then starting next week, when I sell all the stuff that I loot from in here, we can also pick these boots up and give us an additional boost to our armor class. So that would give us, or give up 8 temporary hit points when we're concentrating, which we do a lot with Hex. But the additional armor class is going to take me up to, I believe it's 27. Because the Ring of Protection normally goes in here to 26, and then that would take me up to 27. So very, very hard to hit my Bard at this point in the game.
Pleasure doing business with you.
Don't be
Okay,
shy.
so now we're
Have a
going to
gander at
leave
the finest
the
stock.
shape-shifting on, and I want to look and see. Because honestly, I can't even remember the name. But I'm pretty sure there's a ring that gives you advantage on insight checks. I don't know if I have it. Let me see if I can remember what it is. Okay, it's the Ring of Truthfulness is what it is. I should have it. Oh, no, I don't. Nope, 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 nope. I know where that is. That's in Rivington. So, yes, we don't have it yet. So, I'm going to leave Mark of the Shifter on. Now, I'm going to have to make an insight check here. Insight is wisdom. We aren't great at insight checks. We're going to have some others that are much better. Shadowheart is better at it. And you don't have to pass this. I'm just trying to pass it. So, I don't even know what the DC of it is. But let's just cast guidance on Shadowheart. And we'll go in here and talk to Maul.
No harm in a little
Shadowheart.
conversation.
Your move, Maul.
You trapped me? I didn't even want to take this one.
Kalimshan rules, dear. The first piece touched is the first piece moved.
That's garbage. No matter where the night goes, I'm gonna lose it.
Then make the sacrifice useful. Guard your Mistra, or come for my Cyric?
What's going on here?
Look who made it! For once, I saved your butt out there, didn't I? We're square now, Chief. Say, do you play lance ball by any chance? It's my first time playing.
Okay, so I failed the insight check. The insight check really tells you that this is not her first time playing. She actually is really good at this. We do have a cleric, a wisdom check from the cleric. Every class is going to have their own check down here. But we'll try this. I don't need to throw advantage on this. If I make it, I make it. If I don't, I don't.
My, the Thescan double counter gambit. Vicious. Exactly what I would have done.
How's that for Kalimshan rules?
Brava. Lovely work. I see I was right to make you the offer I did. You will consider it, won't you? What a lovely specimen she is. A blushing apple begging to be plucked.
Please let me smack this creep.
Her victory was hollow, of course. Frankly, I expected better of you. Did Maul ask to have your god win the game for her?
And every one of those dialogue options is going to be different, depending upon how the game was won. The did Maul ask to have your god win the game for her is entirely different if you were a rogue and you used sleight of hand, or if you were a bard and you used persuasion. It's another testament to Larian that they went through and did class-specific dialogues for even something as small as a chess game like this.
Oh, I promise on every treasure I own. You've never dealt with a devil like me before.
Says the man with the busted up
But don't
face.
you worry about Maul. It goes without saying she still has the unconditional freedom to choose the only option she has left. Now, let's talk about you. I sense there's something you want to ask me.
I do. I have a proposal for you.
A proposal? If you're hoping to taste my blood, little vampling, think again. It burns hotter than wyvern whiskey.
This is serious business. Devil. A long time ago, someone carved some runes into my back. I'd rather like to know what they say.
You haven't told them? And you've kept your clothes on this whole time. How unlike you. Why not let them see? Don't be shy.
God damn it.
Don't worry. I'm motivated to help you. Scars often tell such wonderful stories. I think yours might be truly exquisite. I'll see you soon.
Well, now you know. Perhaps I should have. I'm not exactly used to asking for help and being met with, well, help. But what's done is done, so how about we stop talking about it and just get on with things? Although I should probably get dressed first.
Hey, and that's gonna have that's gonna have repercussions later that we're going to have to take into account. If you don't have a Starian in your party when you have that conversation, things can work out a little bit differently. So now we're going to speak to Jaheira, and for Jaheira we need a medicine check while we're doing this. We've got +3. Actually, I shouldn't have removed this. We don't need the Ring of Geniality for this. We will have Historian cast guidance on me.
Never a dull moment.
Please, be welcome. Have a drink. Oh, my gods. To your very good health.
And here's our medicine check.
You perceive a faint hint of cloth grass, a herb that is said to elicit the truth. Jaheira smiles at you knowingly.
It doesn't spoil the taste, if that's what you're wondering. Indulge me. Bottoms up. Well over a century old, and yet it hasn't lost a hint of flavor. Still not quite so sure about you, though. People tend to lose more than just flavor when illithids get their hands on them. I speak from experience. There's an air about you. Something alien. Answer me true and do not lie. The parasite is changing you, isn't it? Look around you. Good men, good women. Stranded here, 2 feet in the grave. If we're to survive, I have no choice but to trust you. Can I? Good. Because I'll cross your heart myself if you break it. I have every reason to be cautious. I've traced people like you. People with parasites in their brains. All the way here from Baldur's Gate. The cult of the Absolute is spreading through the city. Quietly, quickly, and with unsettling deliberation. We tracked them to this ancient village, only to be faced with a man we killed and buried over a century ago. You've been to the towers. Incredible. Your parasite has already served you well. I suppose you know about Keverick then. His invincibility. That we'll never cleanse this place until he's made to bleed. We met him on the road here, commanding an army of the Absolute, intent on destroying Baldur's Gate. I put an arrow through his eye myself, only to watch him pluck it out like a splinter. He healed right in front of me and chased us into the shadows. Things looked hopeless. But experience has taught me that no matter how bleak things look, there's always hope. You are that hope. The light is rather dim out here in the Shadowlands. The point remains. Protected by your artifact, you can infiltrate his forces at Moonrise Towers, posing as a true soul. Find out what it is that makes him invincible, so we can strip him of his advantage. Once Ketheric is without his shield, the sword, together we assault his tower and put a final end to this blight. Without a cure for your infection, your days are numbered too. Yet you selflessly offer to spend them fighting alongside us. I like you. I promise I will do everything I can to make sure you survive this. Any cure starts with understanding the disease. Whatever magic Ketheric's using to control these tadpoles, it must be at Moonrise. Until then, we keep drinking wine when we meet. Before you go, there's somebody else you should meet. You're not our only secret weapon. Isabel, a faithful cleric of Selûne, and a light in the darkness. She cast the moon shield around the inn. It's the only reason we're still alive. She's upstairs in her chambers. Tell her I sent you, and she'll see you through the shadows safely. I'm sure it's very fine. But lanterns have a tricky habit of going out when you need them. Let's not spurn what few gifts the gods choose to give us, hmm?
Okay, so let you know to go talk to Isabel. We are not going to go do that. However, we are going to have 2 more sets of conversations here. The first is with Alfira.
I want to have a word.
You're all right. Thank goodness. I was worried they'd got you too. I keep replaying it. Over and over in my head. They lined us up like dogs. Asherak was with the kids, telling them it was going to be all right. Maybe that's why they picked him. Told him to kneel. They took his eyes first. Then his tongue. Rolan, of all people, saved us. He said he stayed in the grove because of you. And I'm damn glad of it. Without him, well, none of us would be here.
So again, the consequences of what seems like a very innocent choice or encounter that you're having with Rolan and his siblings inside the grove can have massive impacts later on. It's kind of crazy how deep down the rabbit hole some of these choices go that Larian has programmed into the game.
Yes. He shielded me and the kids, while his brother and sister rushed the cultists. Cal and Leah were dragged away, along with the others. Rolan isn't taking it so well. None of us are, to be honest. How do you do it? How do you keep going? Heart's Requiem, right? The hero survives a war and rebuilds her life, stronger than ever. A tale worth remembering. Especially now. You've done so much for us already. But I have to ask. The others might still be out there. If they're not dead, they're in Moonrise. And gods have mercy on anyone in that hell's pit. Thank you. If anyone can manage it, you can. Just be careful up there, all right? I can't handle anyone else dying.
Okay. The next thing we're going to do is over here in the corner is the Innkeeper's Lockbox. Remember, we just picked up a key from the roof for that. Okay, there's a journal in here. Just basically talks about the fact that Ketheric is tearing up the entire city and threatening people who don't convert. And now we're gonna go have a talk with Rolan. There are 3 tieflings that you need to talk with to advance the Tiefling quest line. And we talked to Bex outside, you talked to Alfira here, and you talked to Rolan.
There's another bottle of Arabella dry back there. Put it on the bar, then piss off and leave me alone.
Jaheira said we should serve drinks, but that we shouldn't serve drunks.
Jaheira didn't save your ragged little tail from the cultists. I did. Cute. Maybe she'll write a ballad about me. She can leave out the part where my brother and sister were dragged away screaming while I was saving the orphans. If you hadn't filled their heads with all that self-righteous heroic crap at the Grove, none of this would have happened. They're my responsibility. You go save the world, or your own arse, or whatever it is you do. I'll fix this.
Okay, he's a little bit upset at the world, but that conversation is going to trigger something for him that you want to have triggered. So next we're going to go with Astarion. Put the shield that gives him advantage on perception checks back on.
Touch me.
Don't be shy. Have a gander at the finest
That's an
stock.
interesting thing. Does that make a difference here? No, it doesn't. Okay. Just checking to make sure that his lack of proficiency with a shield wasn't keeping him from getting the bonuses for using it. So now we're going to have him walk into this room. And there's the perception check. And in here you get the Snowburst Ring. When the wearer deals cold damage, they also create a 4.5 meter circle of ice around the target. It can be both useful and not useful. But one of the things I find it's very useful for is, especially when you use it to quicken spell, or you later on get the gloves that allow you to cast cantrips more than at multiple targets. And using something like Ray of Frost, you can cast it at a couple of the front enemies. It will create a big ice area around it, and then when they try and move, they can possibly go prone, and then when enemies behind them move through it, they can also possibly go prone. So you can use it as kind of like an area denial thing. The thing that's annoying about it is if you cast it on an enemy that is right next to one of your allies, then your allies can also trip and fall in that as well. So there's a letter in here. It talks about the Toll Keeper a little bit, and you basically learn that, again, while the village was getting taken over, so to speak, there was a lot of changes that were happening, and the populace wasn't really too happy about it. So for now, I think that's it. I'm gonna check one last thing though, because I don't know if I've had the conversation with the ox in here or not. I just want to check. Okay, so there's the insight check.
I saw the druids grow. Is it?
No, incapable. Not for you to know.
Okay, and here we have a persuasion check. That's 20.
Well, come close. Your mind to mine. Are you satisfied? A kindred spirit, but I only wish to be an ox. Do you understand?
Okay, now you can push this conversation and get him to reveal what he is. You do not want to do that. He will reveal who he is, and he will turn hostile, and things can go really, really badly. He's a little bit OP at this level. We're a little bit higher than we probably normally are when you get here, so it probably wouldn't be as big a deal. But yeah, you really don't want to mess with him. So we're just going to say, sure, you're fine.
How very kind. I'm so glad you understand. Here, a little token between friends for your discretion.
And he'll give you a topaz that you can again sell. And it's going to, again, keep advancing that encounter type of quest line here. So we'll look at our journal real quick. Raphael seems to know some information about Astarian's scars, so we're gonna have to follow up on that. We did upgrade Karlach's heart. We've talked to Halsin. He went to see Art. I don't think there's anything else that we're gonna be able to learn from this, but we will go talk to Halsin. Because I think all he's going to tell us is that we need to go look for some personal belongings of his.
What's up for discussion?
But we'll go look. Yeah,
It's true then. He's met Thaniel. There's no other way he'd know that name. This is just what we needed. Well done. We need to wake him. He must know something about where to find Thaniel. If he was able to escape the Shadowfell, then it mustn't have managed to consume his spirit. Well, not all of it anyway. We need to unlock whatever's left of him, inside his head. There must be something to trigger him. A word, a memory, an item. We just need to find it.
Wait! Take this letter. It was in his pocket. He doesn't seem to have any reaction to it now, but it might help.
I don't deserve you, my friend.
Okay, so we can read the letter here. And it talks about what his mission was. He was to go to Moonrise and find out what's going on with Ketheric and that sort of stuff. But his orders were to begin your investigation in the local House of Healing. And that will advance the quest to go investigate the House of Healing. Okay. And this is somehow tied into into Thaniel, that once he wakes up we'll know more about it. We picked up last time that the Masons Guild is where we need to go take a look, and we're probably going to be able to do that today. And then again we need to go to Moonrise and rescue Wolbrin as well as the Tieflings. So now, let's actually go deal with this last unexplored area on this side. So we're going to fast travel the Shadow Battlefield. Okay, and we're going to put everybody in hiding. We're going to split our group. And we're going to get rid of that shield. We're going to leave his thief gear on. Okay, and with Cat's Grace, we don't need the gloves. Right? Yep. Okay, so we're going to leave his thieving gear on when we go up here, and we're going to cast Guidance.
Tread lightly.
On ourselves. Here in a little bit, so need to make sure we have the silver pendant on. Yeah, you're gonna get an autosave.
Fun. All I wanted was to play.
We're going to hear somebody up here. We're going to come around the front.
Boo! I scared you! I saw it! Nobody beats me at hide and seek. Will you play with me?
Okay, now it's important that you do this encounter with somebody other than the person who has Volo's eye. You do not want see invisibility here. If you have it, it will glitch the encounter and he will think that he won. So you do not want see invisibility during any of this. Just to make that clear before we start. That's one of the reasons I'm bringing Astarion up here. There's another reason that you will see here in a minute.
Of course I am. Now you're going to play with me or not? All right. I'll hide and you seek. Find me and you win. Get ready. And no cheating.
Okay, and you can kind of see where he's headed because the invisible marker's over his head. We're going to cast guidance on ourselves now. We're going to walk over here.
You weren't supposed to find me. You weren't supposed to win. Good idea. You're smarter than some playmates I've had. They always tried to leave before I was done with them. Try to find me again, but my family will be looking for you at the same time, so don't get caught!
Okay, and this is going to immediately drop you into turn-based mode. You quickly saw that Oliver tried to, or was running off this way. And that's going to be important here as we go. I'm going to dash. And it puts you into hiding at the start of this as well. And you can see that we have Doggy, Daddy, and Mummy over here. That's who his quote-unquote family is. Okay, we're going to make our way in here. Okay, and kind of a little bit over this way. And we're going to end our turn for everybody.
I'd love to, thanks.
I need to concentrate.
Okay, and now you're going to see Oliver has shown up. He actually took a long way around. He walked around this way and got over here. We're in hiding. Oliver does not have a detection cone associated with him, so we're going to go pickpocket him. And he has the Ring of Shadows that allows you to cast Pass Without Trace. And I believe it's once per long rest. It is once per long rest. Target is 1 here. Okay. And now we're going to make our way back over here. And end our turn.
Wanna dance?
My faith protects me.
Quietly now.
Okay, and here's Oliver. So, actually, I've never noticed he has a legendary action. Oh, wow, interesting. If any of the shadows see you, you will enter into combat. And you will have to fight your way through that. Now, it leads to the same outcome. He will give you that ring. But I didn't realize that he had legendary actions now. So when you are in combat, you destroy one of the summoned shadows. It casts the Wasting Quiet. Oh, wow. So you take 3d8 necrotic damage whenever you enter the area or start your turn inside of it, and you're silenced. Nice. I like that. Okay, now what we're going to do here is we're going to exit turn-based mode. We're going to immediately come out of hiding and very quickly talk to Oliver. We do not want to get seen by anybody here while we're doing this. So kind of a quick turn of events, or a quick sequence of events here.
You're good at this. Are you sure you didn't cheat? But I can't let you think me a bad sport. Here's your prize. You'll need it.
And because we already pickpocketed the ring, he's going to give us another ring. So basically a free 18 gold. You don't have to pickpocket him, but if you do, you get free gold out of it. It's basically how it works.
Should be easy.
And in here you get the Ring of Mental Inhibition. This is actually a really nice ring. Mental Fatigue is highly underrated in this game. I think there are 3 items, I think, that give mental fatigue, or no, 2 items that give mental fatigue. This is a passive one, so when a foe fails a saving throw against one of your spells or actions, they gain mental fatigue for 2 turns. Mental fatigue means that they have a -1 to their Wisdom, Intelligence, and Charisma saving throws for every turn remaining. So now they start at -2 on their saving throws. So where this is really nice is if you're casting something that requires a saving throw and they fail it, they are now much more susceptible to everyone else's spells that are going to be hitting them. This is how you can get like 100% chances to land Hold Monster and stuff like that against Raphael or against other big enemies and bosses in the game, by stacking up turns of mental fatigue on them so that they have up to a -4 or -5 or a -4, because at -5 they take psychic damage and the turns go away. But you can get them up to a -4 on their saving throws against your spells, and that makes things a lot easier to land. So don't sleep on this ring. It's actually incredibly useful. So there's some other stuff that we can pick up while we're up here. There's a stuffed owlbear toy.
Let's hope for gold. On my way.
Then around the outside again, there are some dead Githyanki up here, and this is what he meant by we're better than his other playmates. It was obvious that Githyanki came up here and played his game, and they lost. One last torch over here. And now we are done in this area.
What to do?
Okay, so now we're going to go get into some fights. And for that, I want to make sure that I am equipped. So Astarion needs to put his... regular stuff back on here. Everybody else should still be okay. We are.
Can't waste any more time.
And we're going to stay hidden as we fast travel to Moonrise Towers. Okay, now as I said before, we see that we have enemies up here, and these are the enemies that we convinced to give their shadow lantern to us. Okay, they have been taken by the shadows, and that ostensibly makes them quite a bit easier to deal with. I do want to see... I'm going to watch these detection cones here. I want to see how far I can move up. Okay, so that's not good. It's like down to here. Don't know if that's enough for me to see. Let's not take any chances. Well, actually, I can start this off and then do my normal things and examine him later. So we'll start this off here, and we're going to start it off with Astarion. Go into turn-based mode here. And we're going to start this off against these two. The first thing about them is that their hit points have been dramatically reduced already. They do have the Shadow Cursed Undead, so they are they have reduced hit points and strength. They're resistant to necrotic damage, but what's important is they cannot use spell or weapon actions. That makes this fight significantly easier than if you were doing it at the house where you intercepted the convoy. Without being able to cast spells, that means that Karnas can't cast Sanctuary, he can't cast any of the stuff that goes along with his legendary spell casting abilities. So that's why you have this fight here instead of at the house. And we want to see... Good. We can start it off against Betty here, and I'm going to again be ready to hold control. Okay. So everybody's brought into it. Here's Karnas. And you can see that he has his Spindleweb Fanaticism and his legendary action Fanatic Retaliation. So when an enemy kills a Spindleweb Fanatic, Karnas will immediately retaliate against the attacker. He can do that with his melee weapon. He can't do it with anything else. So there's no spells or anything like that that he's going to be able to cast because he's Shadow Cursed Undead. He also can't use the weapon action that goes along with Sting, the weapon that he's carrying. So he's not going to be able to poison us using his weapon action. The weapon has poison damage on it automatically, but he, again, can't use the weapon action that goes along with it. So now all we're going to do is just slowly start to back ourselves away from this and make our way kind of down toward these stairs.
Time to move.
Dragging them all with us. Because they have reduced movement speed as Shadow Cursed Undead. So you can see how short their movements are. But they can jump. So that's going to make me invisible. I'm not going to really take advantage of my invisibility here. I don't really intend to exit out of combat and then come back in. What are you doing, Karnas? Got me worried for a second there. I'm still worried. Why these long pauses? Okay, and now I can just make a sneak attack here. Nice. And I will move back. Actually, I don't think I have to, but yeah, I will move back a little bit here. And I don't want to mess with the waning moon here yet. We're going to retreat down the stairs. Okay. Didn't expect him to come down that way. But, okay. So everybody else is now in the fight. Which, like I say, is not a big deal. It's fine. So, I was going to bring them into the fight anyway. So, let's see how far my throw can reach. Okay, I'm fine reaching out there.
Find a route.
So, we'll frenzy. That's going to get us additional fire damage.
Easy.
Okay. Okay. So with Karlach, with her soul coin, you can see that we're now getting additional fire damage because of the Infernal Fury. So that does apply to thrown weapons. So important to remember. Okay, so I still have a couple of us that are... Or Shadowheart, I guess, is still not in combat. Which is nice. So let's throw... Oh, I forgot. I badly need to remember to do a respec. What was that, 91%? Come on. I rolled a 5 with advantage. You're killing me, Smalls. Okay, so let's head up here and we'll get rid of Cansif.
Let's move.
I rolled a nat 20 in the barn or something. Is this just repayment for me rolling one nat 20? All of the nat 1s and 5s with advantage? I mean, come on. This is ludicrous. Not liking these long pauses here. I'm gonna do a quick save on my bard's turn. Just because I don't like this. Okay. So he has reverberation. He failed his saving throw against Lathander's light. I can't remember if he has... No, he doesn't have a riposte. So I should be able to move up here I'm going to move to the other side of him just so my bard is in position to soak up all of these. And we're going to activate Blazing Retaliation. And he hits me. So yeah, if he would have missed that attack, he would have taken 1d6 fire damage, but he somehow managed to hit it. He rolled a 19. He could only hit me with a 19 or 20. And he rolled a 19. Okay, so let's do our enraged throw here. Okay, that knocks him prone. Should probably end it. Perfect. That removes Spindleweb skepticism from everybody, so we don't have to worry about killing anybody else and getting a retaliation from him.
Time for a cull. Delicious.
Or just let Astarion kill everybody else. Oh, do I have a short? Yeah, I do. Because we are getting desperately low on action economy here. So, but for the rest of these, like I say, the fights that we're going to do out here aren't necessarily all that high powered. And here is Cruel Sting. So, if you have restrained a target, this is going to do an additional 1d4 poison damage against them. And the weapon action that goes along with it, like I say, this is what Karnas could not use with it, is it allows you once per short rest to conjure web, basically. And then when they're when they're restrained, now your weapon's doing additional poison damage. So situationally, it can be very nice. It is a long sword. It's versatile. It is not finesse like Falar Aluv is. So this one uses your strength modifier for its 2-hit and damage.
I wonder.
Okay, so we'll quickly walk around, pick these things up from searching them. And now here we have the Thermo-Organic Gloves. So this is the third piece that we found so far of your heat build. When you deal fire damage, you gain 2 turns of heat. Now this is whenever you deal fire damage. It doesn't matter how you deal it, you're going to gain 2 turns of heat. So we have a way to deal fire damage. We're dealing it on the returning pike when we're raging. So this would allow us to gain turns of heat. We're going to give up 1d4 damage on throw attacks to be able to gain heat. Now just to quickly refresh, heat, you're engulfed by vengeful fire, so you take 1d4 fire damage each turn. Now Karlach is natively resistant to fire damage, so she's only going to take half damage from that. So that means at the most 2, but very often only 1 point of fire damage every turn. But it allows us to use heat convergence. So you consume your heat to fuel a powerful attack. The next time you deal fire damage, you deal an additional 1 fire damage for every turn of heat remaining. So every time we deal fire damage, we're going to gain 2 turns of heat. Now, when we're raging, we have 3 throw attacks. If they all hit, that's 6 turns of heat. Then on our next turn, we can activate heat convergence, and that's a +6 fire damage. Or it ought to be +5 because 1 turn will have ticked away. But it's +5 fire damage then for only taking 1 point or possibly 2 points of fire damage in return. So there are some really good things to go along with this. The damage is just about equal. The average damage for 1d4 is 2.5. So we're doing 2.5 damage for every throw attack that we're making. And we're able to do 3 attacks, so we're doing 7.5 total possible damage on average. Could do less, could do more, but that's the number. This gives us a straight +5 every time. Every round that we do it on one of those attacks. So, and then we keep building up heat to be able to do it again. So I'm going to test these out and just see how things go as we progress through this next fight here. Because there is another one.
What is it? Step carefully.
Right up here at the top of the hill. And we should be seeing detection cones anytime. There they are. Okay, now again, shadow cursed harpers out here. There are also a couple of shadows out here as well. And here they are. You can't see them. They're shadow blended right now. But there's one right here. There he is. He's hiding. And I believe we have another one over here. Yep. Right there. Okay. So let's go ahead and get Astarion. Remember, Astarion has the Shadow Cloaked Ring. So he's going to do additional 1d4 on his unarmed attacks against the shadows here. So let's go ahead and start this off.
What's that?
Against the shadow. Now, none of these are going to do anything except push. I don't think I can stagger him. But we might as well.
They won't see me coming.
Okay, oh, there was another one hiding down here. Got a surprise round, which is good. So I can stagger him. Use our second bonus action here. And our action. And that's going to end him. Turns us invisible, but we don't really care about that much.
Sneak, sneak.
Because we're going to actually fight up here. We'll get everybody else started walking up here. Seems like it takes a while, so...
Have to keep going. What's the story?
Okay, and for Karlach, again, we want to throw, but we don't want to throw her returning pike. We don't know where she's going to end up in the order here. And did I still not buy that stupid javelin? Oh, I couldn't afford it. That's why. I have anything I can throw? I'm sure I do. Historian has a bunch of garbage on him. Okay.
My little trick.
Okay, so she actually rolled well on initiative, so we'll immediately go in frenzy. We'll throw the returning pike and see if we get heat build up here. We should.
Want to do it?
And we did. Okay, so we have 2 turns of heat. So right now, at any time, we can activate this and throw in 2+2 heat fire damage on our attacks. What we're going to do is use it next turn. We're going to stack this up with our first 2 attacks so we get up to 5. Then we're going to activate it and throw it with our 3rd attack to gain a +5 bonus to our to our fire damage. Okay, now I'm going to be attacking with advantage here, but it doesn't look like I can get to anybody. Ooh, yeah, I can.
Should mind my step.
I don't know if undead can bleed. I don't think the shadows can, but let me see if the shadow cursed Harper can. We're attacking with advantage. We'll inflict bleeding on it, and that's going to give everybody else with Buwal's benediction advantage on those attack rolls. Okay, so he is bleeding. So we can now attack. Everybody else will have, like, Shadowheart will be able to attack with advantage, and I continue attacking with advantage on him now because I have Buwal's benediction as well. Okay, and again, let's just move here. Activate Blazing Retribution.
Secrecy above all.
And what does he have left? 2 hit points. I'm going to wait and see if he tries to hit me and misses. And Blazing Retribution will kill him. I forgot about him being there. But that's fine. He failed to save against Lathander's light, so he's blinded. Actually, did Historian have any movement left? He does. Well, let's move him over here. I'm pretty sure we're going to get a few people that head this way.
They're dying for me. All of them.
So there it was. That was the bleed that actually killed him. So I'm pretty sure Historian can kill this Harper straight out. This one, not so much.
No choice but to keep going.
So this is going to provoke an attack of opportunity. This movement won't. Trying to get down here. Thinking. No, actually, we'll stay up here. So we will let Astarion deal with this. This should put him back into invisibility. And now he... Let's see if we can inflict bleeding down here.
Pleasure.
Perfect.
Sometimes the only way out is through.
Okay, so now I'm going to be attacking with advantage here.
Into the bloody fray.
And stacking up more and more bleed. Crit, nice.
I'm ready.
Darion's done. For Shadowheart. Oh, yeah, forgot. Let's deal with this one with Karlach here.
Under their noses.
So, enrage throw first.
Easy.
Okay, now we're up to 3 turns. We'll use our first. Attack. And now we're up to 5 turns. Now we're going to activate heat convergence. So yeah, it added in, you can see the damage roll, +5, attack rose 5 turns of heat for heat convergence for a total of 9 damage. He has resistance to fire damage. I didn't realize that. Yeah, I should have though. I should have remembered that. So now Shadowheart, let's just dash with Shadowheart. I'm going to jump. That.
Mind.
Spirit Guardians is so strong in Act 2.
How delicious. Yes, please. Step lightly. What's that?
There's a whole bunch of plaques here. We'll learn about those a little bit later, because there's a buff that goes along with it that I am not going to use right now. Okay, so let's make our way up toward the Mason's Guild here. And along the way, we're gonna head to this corner.
Intestines throb, blood whispers.
And watch carefully.
Seems like a good moment to talk.
Tread carefully. You are still necessary.
Okay, now we saw Carilla once already at the celebration we had at the Grove. We've seen her again here. She seems to be tracking us. We don't know entirely what that's all about.
One day I'll catch a break.
And again, we're staying away from the toll house here as well. We're just going to go open up some of the map around the outside of it and the waypoint. Okay, actually, before we go there, let's go help Rolan. We can fast travel back to here after we're done. Now that we've talked to Rolan in the last light,
Caravans. The town toll house, surely.
you can now see over here we have some fire scorching the ground, and this is kind of letting you know that this encounter is available to be had. Okay, so I'm going to put everybody into hiding, split the group. I have alert,
With haste.
so I'm going to head down here. Okay. And here we're going to get into a fight. There are a couple of shadows here. Okay, right next to each other, and they're attacking Rolan. Now, this can get a little bit hairy because your job here is to protect Rolan through all of this, and I'm going to be sacrificing some of my health in favor of movement because I need to get down here next to them. I want them attacking me, not Rolan. And now I can bring everybody else up here. And we're going to start with Shadowheart, and that's because of Lathander's light. Because there is another shadow down here that is hidden. Okay. And that was a mistake. I saw the detection cone start to come up. I clicked back behind it, and in between that time I clicked and the movement started happening, it put me into combat. So, again, I'm going to have to do something here I probably normally don't want to do. But again, I'm going to sacrifice some health for my movement because I want to bring that other shadow out of hiding. I don't want to use that. I've only got one of them left. Again, I wish I had my cantrip here. I'm desperately in need of that respec. He's resistant to that, but it will proc Radiating Orb. So his detection cone reaches all the way up there.
Come on, let's go.
That might not be a problem for Karlach.
Quiet.
If you can one-turn them, that's always the best way to go about this. Normally you can't stand up here because the path for throwing will be obscured. So I'm going to head over here and get as close as I can and see if I can throw from here. Oh yeah, I need to get back something to throw. Once I get some cash, I'll be picking up the Javelin +1 from the vendors, and that will be my main throwing, so I can do it from here.
Easy.
Okay.
That's it.
And let's bring Astarion in now. I don't want to clog up the pathway getting down there by moving Karlach down first. So let's see where Astarion can jump here.
Damn it all! I could do nothing right! Not a damn thing! I'm supposed to be saving Cal and Leah. Instead, I found myself cornered by shadow fiends and in need of rescue. From you, of all bloody people. Or not hard enough. I've failed Cal and Leah again. Be on your way. I'll return to Last Light. I know when I'm outmatched.
Okay, so that will finally get Rolan to get out of here and go somewhere safe.
Well, hello.
I don't think any of the ravens have anything on them. I'm just going to check. Okay. So now let's fast travel back to Wraithwind Town. And we were going to head north up toward the Masons.
Light on my feet.
While we're here, we'll go open up a little bit more of the map. We should have already explored all of this, I believe. Did I find the trap? We'll go check and just make sure. I believe we've already explored this. Yes, we did. Actually, yeah, there's the tripwire. So we already explored all of this. I want to take another short rest. And here's the Masons Guild. Okay, so we can search around the outside here, and there's a bunch of more trash that you can pick up around the outside. Again, I'll come back and do all of that off stream. I'm probably going to have about an hour worth of just picking up garbage.
This was a Mason's Guild.
But there is one particular thing
Perhaps someone didn't appreciate the Masons.
that we want to look at. Actually, I think it's around back. Yeah, it's right there. So we'll do that on our way around the back. Okay, and here's the front doors. Okay, and in here, again, a few things that you can take a look at. There's a recipe for an elixir of bark skin on the table, so don't miss that.
What's that?
Okay, so there's a plaque here.
Here lies the Grand Mason, his bones and lies exposed. A pile of crushed bones of varying shapes, sizes, and creatures.
So there was something odd about the leader of the Masons Guild here. So head into the back. Again, a bunch of stuff that you can pick up. We'll head over here and we can pick up another piece of infernal iron. We're not going to have a whole lot of usage for these because we've already crafted everything from Damon that we need. Out the back. Just opening up the map, we've got a trunk down here that we can look at. And again, just opening up the map, and a ladder here can take us back up to right where we were. And then out the back of the Masons Guild, we have another pathway here, which we're not going to fully take yet. But we will go open it up. That leads us into the cemetery, back behind the House of Healing. And around the back of the Masons Guild, you can see we've uncovered an ornate wooden hatch. There's another pathway here, which leads us down to an encounter we're going to have right before we take our long rest. But for now, we're going to hop in here. Now you're on the top floor of the Masons Guild. There's a ladder that takes you down right here. We can head around the back. And sure enough, there's our ornate wooden hatch. So down here in the basement, I'm going to search all of this, or I'm going to search all of this and pick up all of this stuff while we're down here. Just because we're in a different area. Sometimes if you can't reach something, throw it instead. That's the secret to getting the elixir or the greater healing potion recipe in the Last Light Inn. The book is unreachable, but you can throw it. Don't throw it with one of your, or if you're going to do it, don't throw it with one of your characters that you use as your vendor interaction, because everybody in Last Light will be, you'll lose 5 attitude when you throw the book. So do it with something like a mage hand or something that then you can dismiss afterward. And I'll probably have time to show that to you, I guess. Okay, so there's a perception check over here, and I shouldn't have taken it for granted. It's not that high a DC, but still, I shouldn't have taken it for granted.
On I go.
Okay, there it is.
Something over there. I've got a long road ahead.
A couple more things to search over here. And then the Keyhole Herald.
How many die today?
Now remember that tower-shaped key? Look what's on the front of the Herald. It looks like a tower. That's the key that we persuaded Mattis to give us inside the Last Light Inn.
These boots have
I'm going to move everybody back here.
Go. Ready or not?
I'm ready. Need to press forward.
Okay, so for Shadowheart, going to have her cast Aid. Okay.
Keep low and quiet. No time to dally.
And there's a note here. So, obviously protected against thieves, so we should be aware that there might be some traps around here. And there's a successful perception check for Astarion to come in and disarm this.
Watch the shadows.
I can't remember the DC. We're not going to take any chances on it. So it's an 18. So we're going to add in Mark of the Shifter. Add in guidance. And we can open it. Nothing really worth remembering in there. And then we're going to take a Astarion and bring him all the way back out here and put him back in hiding. We're going to put his combat gear back on.
Tricks.
And on our way through here, Shadowheart's just going to pick up a few things.
Mustn't let anyone see.
Okay, and then we get into this room. Now, here, obviously, the Masons Guild, right? As we move in here, we're going to get detection cones. And those detection cones, you can see one of them. There's a wraith up here who's hiding from us. And I believe, yeah, there's one shadow there that's in hiding. There's another shadow here. And then there are two more, or there's one more shadow here. I thought there were two more, like one out here and one out here somewhere. But I don't necessarily see them. Oh, okay, they're back, farther back here. Because, yeah, there's 5 shadows and 1 wraith in here. Okay. So, the thing about wraiths and shadows is that they have the shadow teleport ability as well. What we want to try and do here is drag them back up this hallway all the way to the end here. That wants to be our goal. But to do that, we need to start the combat off. Again, I have alert, which is good, because I want to hope that I can get a surprise round here. Okay, don't want to have disadvantage on that. There we go. Okay, so that started the initiative. I did not get a surprise round, but let's start making our way back.
On my way.
Okay, so now I'm not going to attack, I'm just going to dash. And I think this should probably be far enough. But let's not take any chances. Okay, and one more turn of dashes. To get us back here into this alcove. Now here's where I really wish I had my cantrips. I could be fighting them on the way in with my cantrips, but I'm not going to. I'm going to cast my last level 4 spell slot for Spirit Guardians here. And let them come to me. The reason for this is twofold. One, I can get them lined up in this hallway. You see they're all making their way down this hallway. Pretty soon they're all going to be bunched up like somewhere around here, relatively, and I can cast Sunbeam off the Light of Lathander straight down the hallway and just rack everybody up. But the second thing is that when they're going to be blinded by Lathander's light, then they take radiant orb damage when they miss me, and that makes it harder for them to hit me afterward, and it's just a self-reinforcing defeating cycle for them. Just walking. Or they get hit by Spirit Guardians, they get more stacks of Radiant Orb. So we're at 6 stacks of Radiant, that's a -6 to hit with him. And they all have to come at me from the same direction. Okay, now I don't really care if I hit here or not. Doesn't really matter. If I provoke an attack of opportunity at -6 to hit, he just gets more stacks of Radiant Orb. Sure, might as well. Okay, so now while we're here, let's do a little ping real quick. We know where this guy is. So he's down there still by the door. He's right there in the middle of the hallway. That's him that's visible. He's right there. And he's down by the door again. So let's throw... So he might be out of range. He's not. Let's throw it anyway. He wasn't out of range. So that took care of them. Also did a huge amount of damage to the Wraith. He's at 10 stacks of Radiating Orb. He's not going to be able to hit me except with a nat 20 at this rate. I can move forward and probably kill him. Oh, he's saved. Yeah, he's had enough. he's done. He's like, no, I'm just gonna sit out here for a while. You do you. Okay. We're just gonna wait for them to come in again. They're blinded, and that's a problem. And we'll go make this one's life bad. He actually saved against Lathander's light. And that's the end of that. Spirit Guardians, like I say, is just incredibly powerful
Have to keep low.
in Act 2.
I must keep going.
Let's move.
One step at a time.
Okay, so now let's go search this area out.
A quick rummage.
The books, there's nothing special about them. There is some lore and stuff in them. You know, like I said, if it's your first playthrough, I do always encourage you to read the books. Scroll of Dimension Door is really nice.
What's this?
Okay, we'll head to the other side. Actually, we'll head down the middle first. And here's a Mason's letter. And you learn more about the whole thing. This is Morfrid. So you saw Morfrid's corpse underneath the last Light Inn. And again, you warned about, he knows more about the tower's construction than anyone. We're going to meet Morfrid. Actually, I take that back. We met his brother underneath the last Light Inn. We're going to meet Morfrid later on, actually. In Act 3, toward the very end of Act 3. But yeah, you will find the Mason who built the Moonrise Towers. We're just going to quickly pick all this stuff up off the table. Like I say, while I'm down here, I'm going to loot all of this stuff. The Mason's log again talks about the taking over of the town and what the Masons were trying to do to fight against that. And I think that completes the Investigate the Slunite Resistance quest. It does. Whoops. Okay, so can't pick that one up. Now here... Here. Oh, yeah, I can't cast that until I've got that on.
Wits and blades, always sharp. This'll help.
What a day.
Because we're going to need a perception check down here. It is.
Someone's left a trap out for us.
I'll put the ring on. And we do not want to have the shield on when we do this. This is a DC 21. Oh. I think I might have failed. I rolled high on Mark of the Shifter, though. Okay. So Yeah, Mark of the Shifter and Guidance saved me. I rolled 4s. Oof.
Let's crack it open.
And in here you get the Helm of Arcane Acuity. This is one of the most powerful helms for the Bard. In that when you deal damage with a weapon attack, you gain Arcane Acuity for 2 turns. So you have a +1 bonus to your spell attack rolls and spell DC for every remaining turn of this. So when you start off, I have 2 attacks with my Bard. If I hit both, I have 4 turns of Arcane Acuity, which means that I have a +4 to my attack rolls and DC for my spells, which makes it very easy for me to land things like Tasha's Hideous Laughter and Hold Monster, both of which are Bard spells. So as I go forward with this build, I'm going to be focusing on some more of that. I have been neglecting those spells up until this point, but now those spells become a lot more usable in this playthrough. Like I say, it's one of the most powerful spells that you're going to have for a combat type of build. Now, what am I sacrificing?
Still alive, so that's progress.
Is the Diadem of Arcane Synergy. Arcane Acuity and Arcane Synergy are two different things. Arcane Synergy is giving me weapon damage when I inflict a condition. So I'm gaining Spellcaster modifier for 2 rounds on my weapon damage after this. However, I'm going to be sacrificing that damage to gain the ability to debilitate an enemy completely because of the higher attack roll and DC with my spells. It also works on things like cantrips, which need attack rolls, so my Eldritch Blasts are much more likely to hit. All of that sort of stuff. So for the Bard Warlock type combination, this is a very, very powerful helmet to have. Now, Astarion needs the shield back.
Can't afford to stay idle.
Okay.
Careful, I bite.
There's no time to waste. Time for a boost.
And we'll send Astarion up the ladder here. We've got a few turns of guidance here, so we'll just do some quick searching while it's running. What was that?
Well, hello.
And there's the perception check for the button. Okay, so a circle of red ink draws your attention as though something has been stashed in the tower's prison dungeon.
Interesting map. Especially that nice big X at the base of Moonrise Towers.
That's actually going to give us a quest marker, or not a quest marker, but an investigation marker, which we can't see here.
What's in here?
We'll take a look at it here in a second. Once we get out of here.
Very well then.
Okay, and the button's going to open up this room here. Some good potions. Some really good potions. Especially for honor mode. Invisibility and speed are very, very valuable potions for you. Scroll of Knock, another Scroll of Darkness, and Misty Step. So some good scrolls here too. Out of this. Trash on the table to pick up. Now, one thing I don't get is that there's a lever here that will unlock that, that will open that door. That would indicate to me that there's another way into this room somehow. And it looks like this side is kind of cut off. You don't see the borders, which would normally indicate that there's some sort of
no one stopped me yet.
Secret wall or something like that, but I've never been able to find anything in here as another way into this room. It doesn't look like there's anything out there, so it's a little weird why that lever is there, since you can only access this room from the outside and the door has to be open for that to happen. But if somebody knows anything, let me know in the comments. Like I say, it's been a thing that's been bugging me ever since my very first playthrough. I don't know why it's like that. And we're going to take Astarion down here to search these boxes and crates.
Step quick.
Whoops, there's still a couple more. Okay, so we will head back out of here. There are actually two ways out of here. There's an elevator here and a ladder over here. They both end up taking you to very nearly the same spot. Okay, and then what I was talking about is that there's a hidden treasure marker in here. And we will see another one when we get into the prisons of Moonrise Towers. So for now, we're going to start exploring a little bit, not very much up here. There's an encounter up there that we do not want to have yet. But we will explore that way a little bit, because there's at least one more combat that we want to have today. Oh, let's go this way instead. Because we want to make our way into the graveyard from this side. So we're going to make our way around here. And we can do one more little thing that I almost forgot about.
Trust no one. Let's move.
There's a heavy chest on the roof here. And then here, I believe we're going to find the key. I think I forgot about this. Oh, no, we didn't. Okay. I thought there was a key. There might have been a key up here to one of those chests downstairs, but it's not. But you can get up here on the roof and search these two skeletons for some items. And obviously that chest. actually, I can't get down here. Yeah, I need to go back the other way. Come out the front door of the Masons Guild. Not a big deal. And actually, this isn't in my notes. Let me check this out again real quick here, because I might not want to talk to this person yet. Okay, no, I can talk to her. Sorry, I was getting confused with something else that this person gives us later on. Right here, we see Arabella.
Here we go.
Hey! I know you! You're... Twist 'em up!
Hey, that's Arabella. Kid from the Druid's Grove. That snake woman nearly did her in. Looks like she's learned a thing or two.
Sorry. It knocks the wind right out of me. That druid idol I took? It changed me. I can do all sorts of stuff now, not just the vines. I think real hard and say some loud words and then it happens. Mostly.
That's the Idol of Sylvanas, the one that I'm currently carrying in my inventory. I wish it gave me those powers.
Tragedies. Them's the sad ones, right? I hope not. Especially since Mum and Pops, after Zevlor, when he... Well, there was an ambush. Mum yelled, "Run!" So we ran. I could hear him run behind me. Till I couldn't. Still can't find him. But I bet you can. You'll help me, I just know it. Thanks, miss. I knew you'd help me again. The vines won't last forever. I don't suppose I can stay with you. Just till you find Mum and Pops. I won't be any trouble, I swear it.
This dialogue has changed because I'm the Dark Urge.
Oh, thanks. You're the best. So you send Mum and Pops there. I'll be waiting, hero lady.
Okay, and we do have some shadows here. That we need to get rid of.
Never a dull moment. On my way.
So again, 2 turns of arcane acuity. So 4 turns of arcane acuity. So I've got +4 to my attack rolls and spell DC. Now this is just going to keep going up every time I attack. So it's I can stack this up to 10, I believe. And that just guarantees you 100% chance to land one of those spells. basically, with a plus 10 to hit, plus my normal spell casting modifiers and all that sort of stuff.
Ready for another round?
So that overhanging tree branch. The only problem with a throwing base build is the weird arc. Okay. Easy enough. So now we're going to make our way into the graveyard here. There's a couple of things that we want to take a look at while we're in here. So we don't want to go into the House of Healing, but we are going to be picking up various things that are in here. The first is right there.
What's that?
You don't have to pass the perception check, it just highlights it.
What's in here?
This is True Love's Caress. This is one half of a pair of rings that give you the ability to cast Warding Bond without using a spell slot. You can only cast it on the person who's wearing this ring. So this is kind of like the trigger on it, so to speak. But Warding Bond is actually very, very powerful. We haven't had a whole lot of chance to deal with it, but you saw that we used it during the Zaith'isk to be able to give us advantage on saving throws and that sort of stuff. It's really, really nice. The split damage between two characters can easily be mitigated. So the second thing that we're going to do is right here.
Crooked touch.
Need to get rid of the Sentinel shield, but for this I wasn't too worried. And in here you have the Boots of Apparent Death. This is once per short rest you can cast Feign Death. Now Feign Death is actually something we're going to see quite a bit more in this one. When we get into situations where we've got an ally stuck in a bad spot, specifically when they've lost, like we get surprised, or they're really low in the initiative order, this is going to allow us to cast Feign Death. We try and avoid that most of the time by giving alert to Shadowheart so that she rolls high in the initiative order and she can cast Sanctuary, which is kind of like the OP version of this, in that they just won't attack you at all. Feign Death, they can still attack you, but you're resistant to all damage except Psychic. Diseases and poisons have no effect. So if somebody's getting ready to die and they're in because of poison damage, Feign Death will help eliminate that. So there are two specific encounters that I can think of where we're probably going to be wearing these boots when we go into it, so that we can cast Feign Death depending upon our initiative order. But those are not until Act 3. Corpse Rose, this should be our first one that we found, I think. Yep, so it unlocks the salts of Corpse Rose. And now here... Oh, did I put those boots on by mistake? Somehow I must have misclicked or something there. Yeah, I don't know why I clicked send to camp and it somehow went to equip. Strange.
Let's get on with it.
Keep your distance, darling.
Okay, nothing in here. Just the item here. This is the Ice Bite Robe. So we've seen this in our Gale, freezing Gale build. This is the robe that allows Gale to really have the most effect out of that. We're going to be seeing that quite a bit more once we bring Gale back into our party. Shadowheart is just way too valuable in Act 2 not to have her here, but Gale's the normal part of our party. And when he comes back, he's going to be outfitted that same way. We're going to use it slightly differently this time, and that's because we're going to do more of the movement-based and utilizing Armor of Agathis to cause damage, which we haven't seen in the other two playthroughs used very much by me. That's just because we don't need it in those, but here it's a great source of continuous damage as long as you have movement speed. So we're just gonna open up the map here. There are tombstones in here that you can read. Okay, and this is where we were. Now we'll head around the back. And you can see that there's actually vines above us here, which can get you overhead over to this area. We're not going to use them.
All these dark justices slain in battle. They must have a stronghold nearby or a temple.
So as you get closer to this northern area, you're going to get clues for Shadowheart's quest, because it is very near. It's right up here. And Raphael is up here. We do not want to have the conversation with Raphael yet. So we are not going to explore any farther to the north. We're instead going to head up here. Now this is the roof of the House of Healing. You can explore more of the House of Healing up here if you would like. We're not going to. We're going to instead come around the back over here. Okay, and then here we have this pathway up here. It's fairly well disguised. If you look at your map, it's there, but there's nothing really to indicate that you can get up there. But all you have to do is click up there. And you can. Once you get farther down here, you've got two corpses. The first one has the Watcher Shield. So, same thing as the Sentinel Shield, just a poor man's version of it. Allows you advantage on perception checks. And the next thing you have is the Assassin Short Sword. You have advantage on stealth checks. This is incredibly useful for your ranged Gloomstalker Assassin build. You can have this in your melee slot, giving you advantage on stealth checks. You can use the Ring of Shadows that we got from Oliver to cast Pass Without Trace. And now you have a +10 bonus to stealth checks. You have advantage on stealth checks because of, oh, I didn't pick it up, because of the short sword. So now you're basically not able to be knocked out of stealth. So you can just sit there and keep firing ranged arrows over and over and over again to start your combat off. And we may actually just illustrate that here. Again, I've got Astarion built out around your unarmed build, but we can illustrate this. And how this works, because we're going to get into combat up here.
Silent as the grave. What's that?
Okay, so we did pass the survival check. That's nice. I'm actually going to move everybody else a bit farther back, because they're going to react differently to this than they normally would. Okay, so Astarion is going to cast Pass Without Trace. This lasts until long rest and gives you a +10 bonus to stealth checks.
Let's prowl.
Okay, and it's aura based, so in an area around him, your companions are going to gain that bonus as well. So now I have the short sword, which gives me advantage on stealth checks. So if you look, I've got a +20 to my stealth, and I've got advantage on those stealth checks. So they have to roll a nat 20 to find me on that first hit. They can't roll high enough to overcome it. Okay? And then the more attacks I get, the harder those stealth checks become. But I still have advantage on those stealth checks as I'm doing this. So this guy has 70 hit points. So let's see how many of these, and I'm going to turn off asking Luck of Far Realms. And I'm going to turn off sneak attack, because I don't want any interruptions with this. I want to be able to hold control down and just keep firing until they find me. They're going to walk right up next to me. And then at that point, they're probably going to find me. So let's just start shooting here. Okay, so you see, I completely killed him before somebody got close enough to find me on a stealth check. So that's how your stealth archer build works, and I'm not even a Gloomstalker assassin, where I have advantage on all of those attacks because it's the first round. So that type of build can be incredibly useful as you're going through honor mode, especially. There's a content creator who's done a great build guide for it, as well as a playthrough where they did entirely that. You can go check out her content online. If you search for stealth archer build, you'll find it. And like I say, it's a really great walkthrough of how to build it and how to play it. So it doesn't cost us any actions to remove an item. So let's dash, and we'll move back here onto this platform. And this is the reason I moved down to this platform. Because for some reason, the Wraith and the Mastiff think that they can get to me from down here. They can't, but they always seem to path down this way. So it really just leaves me with the two shadow-cursed enemies here to deal with. And again, I can probably illustrate again how this works. By moving up here, going into hide, I'll bet I can make this attack and not fail a stealth check. Oh, once I'm in combat, it doesn't. There is no stealth checks. Yeah, duh. So now I'll move back again a little bit. They should still have to dash to get to me. Oh, okay. That's the first time I've seen him do that. But it does make sense. Okay, there's the dash I was waiting for. Oh, why did you climb up there? Okay, thank you, you're down. Alright. So now we're going to bring everybody else into play.
What's next, I wonder?
First, we're going to bring Shadowheart. Now, there is still one shadow that I don't have. Okay, there he is. That I didn't have visibility on. And his detection cone is probably all covering this up.
I have to survive this.
So if I move out there, I'll bet this shadow finds me. Let's do it anyway. Let's kind of move around this corner. Let's actually try and jump down here. Okay, so there he is. It didn't knock me into combat. Looks like his detection cone is actually the opposite way, which is good.
Better tread carefully.
Who saw me? Who saw me? He was turned the opposite direction as we saw. Oh jeez, this game sometimes.
Subtle sometimes. A knife in the dark.
Yeah, see, his detection cone is not there yet. Who saw me? Neither one of these two should have been able to see me.
Dum-de-dum. I'm nothing.
Okay, we would like to get Karlach in a spot where I can hit the Wraith. But again, the detection cones are acting really weird here. I can still hit.
Go on.
Okay, so I don't think you can knock them prone, but it doesn't really matter. So let's start with our main hand attack here. That's going to trigger our offhand attack. And then... Okay. Okay, so now that we're all here,
Ready.
let's trigger this attack of opportunity. Oh, it's not going to trigger one. Okay. I want to get her down here to blind everybody. Everybody she can. Anyway.
Let's have some courage.
Okay, that ends that.
Nothing important is ever easy.
Hard OP.
These boots have seen everything.
My turn.
That ends that. Did it bring the other one out of stealth? It did. That's outstanding.
Aye, aye.
Did that hit Shadowheart? It might have because of the how big the weapon is. Okay, that will end that one. Got some -3 to hit here.
Break them.
So he's bleeding now. So we have advantage on all these attacks from
I wonder
Brual's
if this is worth
benediction.
the cost.
And that's just going to keep bleeding him because I'm attacking with advantage every turn. So it's just going to keep him at a problem. What's that? Okay, so we are very ready for a long rest.
Someone there?
And we're also going to do a respec during that as well. Arcane Cultivation, nice. Gain additional spell slots is always useful.
Better make camp soon. Might be a while before there's another chance.
So Astarion has finally become overburdened.
I'd love to, thanks.
Orlax's got plenty.
What do we have here?
Hey, Em, welcome to the stream. Sorry I didn't notice you. I was a bit busy dealing with some fights there.
Oh, yeah. Aha.
And this poor guy died before he even knew what hit him. Okay, so make our way back up here. There's one last little section of the graveyard here. But nothing in it. Yeah, not going into the House of Healing yet. Okay, and now we get into this area here, and we should get a warning pretty quick.
Listen.
There it is.
Psionic detector. Githyanki are lurking nearby.
Okay, we are not going to deal with this today. Not something that we are going to do. We could go exploring a little bit back here into this area, but we're not going to do that either. We're going to save that for when the quest marker actually shows up for it. Or not the quest marker, but the information marker for it. We can make our way down here, though, without triggering them. Okay, there's the front door of the House of Healing. Again, not going in there yet. That will all be for next week. So we'll come down here, we'll get the Shadowroot sack. And down here we get to some more of the Waning Moon. So again, we're not going to go into there. That's for next week. And we get back to where we started this whole thing out at. Okay, so we basically made a big circle all the way around it, and we've opened up most of the west side of the map for the River Chionthar. Now, the House of Healing, the Toll House, and the Waning Moon are boss fights. Fights is a bit of a stretch, because we're not going to have fights in any of them. And then up here to the north is the Sharin Temple in Raphael. We are going to do that last. That's the very last thing that we're going to do. So what we're going to do is kind of open up this bottom section here real quick and do a skirt around the outside of Moonrise Towers. And by that time, we should be done for today. Then again, like I told you, I'm going to spend probably the next hour going through and picking up every piece of garbage out here in every one of these wooden trunks and stuff that are laying around out here. And I won't sell any of it, so that by the time we come back next week, we can sell it all. And you can see, again, just by picking up garbage. I'll pick up the towel, otherwise I'm going to forget it's here. Just by picking up garbage like this, how much money we can get to be able to purchase the items that we really, really want. Okay, so this back area here, I'm going to search. But we're not going to go into the Waning Moon. It's right in there. And again, this is all the trash I'm talking about. And we'll kind of talk more about the trash next week. Okay, so let's head back and we'll head around the exterior of Moonrise. So we've already been down this way, and actually we don't want to go, I guess we can. We can go over to the docks. I wasn't going to go to the docks, but we can. Okay, this is the way that we came in, down this ramp here. If you head down this side, there will be another chest down here. Crafting ingredients. Various trash. letter that we picked up is just a Sharan prayer. Doesn't really trigger anything or do anything. And more trash and camp supplies. And down this way, we're going to swap to our bard.
Very well.
We're going to make the jump across here. Okay, now we've already been inside, so the guard doesn't react. Well, the guard that's normally here has already been teleported inside. But if you try and come into Moonrise Towers this way, you'll have the same conversation about getting into Moonrise and that sort of stuff that you had with the two guards out front of the main entrance. Okay, it should be standing right here. So again, all of this is marked steel back here. So be very careful what you're clicking on. Because all of this...
Enjoy the view. This feels like it'd stretch all the way to the Sea of Swords on a clear day.
is marked as steel, and we will be clearing all of this out so that we can access all of this stuff, because there's a very particular thing here on the dock right here that we want to have access to. But right now we're just opening up the map. There's nothing else in particular down here. This is all still marked as steel. There's a cat hole down here, which if you shapeshift or mist form yourself, you come out up here on top of the balcony for Moonrise Towers. We're not going to do that now that we've opened up the docks over here. We're just going to head back to the main entrance. And there's some exploring we can do around the outside here. We're going to head off to the left first.
Visitors.
And you can talk to any of the ghouls or anything like that you would like to.
There is only the absolute.
That right, mate? Only the absolute.
And then down here you can make a jump across over to here. There's also some routes that take you up to a second floor up here that we're not going to do right now. So now I need to get back to my note. Okay, so for this, we need
I wonder what the next move is.
Shadowheart. We need to have her with Mark of the Shifter. So whoever's got the helmet, I thought it was Astarian. It is. It's right there. Okay, and then we need to have enhance ability cast on her as well. And this is, and I didn't write down what check it is. Let's That was bad of me. Messed up my notes here. It's a quick look up though, so let me go. It's wisdom.
No time to dally.
And we're going to talk to Linsella.
A moment, true soul. You use a spoon to stir the soup, Barnabas. Forget the axe, my darling. Now, how can I help you? That is the gift the Absolute gave me when I stood before her. To rewrite the lives of her faithful. Make them believe there's something better. Oh, the good is buried deeper in some, that is true. But she will always find it. Barnabas, sweetie, come show what a good boy you are. What would you like him to do? The prayer, I think. Barnabas struggles with civilized speech, but he's been practicing.
You feel her will surge outwards and envelop the creature, inexorable as the tide.
Soul.
No, Barnabas! We talked about this.
Okay, and now here you have a wisdom check. Now, Shadowheart has the highest wisdom. It's a straight wisdom check. It's not a skill check. So, Mark of the Shifter and Guidance do apply to this, though. So I can still add in Guidance, and that's from... since they both look the same. I think this is Shadowheart, and this is my bard here. Ouch. Oh, I rolled high on them both.
Like a rope drawn taut beneath the blade, the connection simply snaps.
No. Barnabas, darling. No!
Another parasite.
All trace of restraint is gone. Barnabas has tasted blood, and wants more. To your surprise, instead of ravishing you, he grovels with a howl of pining awe.
Lord! Many die.
Okay, now what happens here is that you had the conversation with Linsella Shadowheart, but then another conversation started with Barnabas, and the game, I think it was in patch 5, the game prioritizes your main character having conversations like that when they pop up. I didn't specifically click on Barnabas to have the conversation, so the game is going to prioritize moving that conversation to my bard. That's good, because if I wasn't playing as the Dark Urge, I would have a DC 16 persuasion or deception check to make here, or intimidation, I think, check to make here to keep Barnabas from attacking us. But since I'm the Dark Urge, he recognizes that, and I don't have to make that check. And now Barnabas and the 3 gnolls in here are marked as green.
All's well that
The other reason we wanted to
not
do
as bad as
this
it could have.
And I'm going to...
Something good here, I hope.
quickly teleport out. She was marked as steal, so by picking up her items, you will have somebody come question you about it, and if you don't want to have to make that check, then teleport out immediately afterwards so that you don't get accused of stealing. What was really in there was another tadpole that was on her body, and that's what we wanted out of it. So I am going to save, and this is going to be a good spot for us to end. So what we're going to do next week is we're going to start off next week by exploring Moonrise Towers. We have some business in the prisons that we need to take care of, including a couple of big fights down there that we want to handle. We have a few other encounters and a new area to explore in Moonrise. We have some hidden treasure chests that we want to pop open, and some encounters that, while we have Astarion in our party, we definitely want to have. So we're going to spend the first part of next week, probably the first half, going through Moonrise Towers. We're also going to sell off all of the trash that I'm about to pick up here for the next hour, so that we can get some money and buy some more items from the vendors. And then, once we've finished up in the prisons, we are probably going to go back and have an encounter in the Last Light. I mentioned this last week. I realized in my testing that I want to go to the prisons first, so in case things go badly, I don't miss out too horribly. And then we're probably going to have a fight with Marcus next week as well. I normally wouldn't do that in an honor mode playthrough because of the chance of things going very, very badly. But I think we're going to be okay. I have a couple of ways to kind of help that out, and I think we're going to be okay. But I'm not going to take any chances with it, so if the fight goes bad, then we are definitely going to have to take some actions that I don't approve of. But we certainly will. I'm not going to ruin this playthrough because of this particular fight and the serious consequences it has, but I do want to do it and show it to all of you. After that, we're going to be heading into these 3 locations and start dealing with some bosses in here. And like I say, since we're not fighting, they should go fairly quick. So next week should be a fairly action-packed episode, so I hope you all tune in and join me for that. So, as always, thank you all for being here. Without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying until next time, fare thee well.